listening to On the Couch with Carly. Carly's Couch is a safe space to talk. I'm a psychologist, but I'm not your pipe-smoking, tweed-wearing stereotype.
Hello, and welcome back to On the Couch with Carly. Today, I'm doing another short episode on something that I've been thinking about lately, and that is how being a mom or a parent and a psychologist is hard. And there are a number of reasons for that. So, number one, having been a psychologist for now, how long have I been a psychologist? 14 years? Is that right? I have heard many stories of fucked up childhoods. I have heard many stories of people who resent their parents. So I have got a million different examples of how grown-up children come to resent their parents for so many reasons, and all of which are pretty valid. So that means that I have a lot of cautionary tales that make me think, when I am maybe doing something in my parenting, oh goodness, this could be what my child ends up taking to therapy one day. So I am particularly maybe hard on myself as a parent because I imagine when I do things as a parent, and I can almost anticipate how this will turn out to be a story told in therapy one day. Okay, so that is reason number one. Reason number two is I have clients who are parents, and sometimes they tell me about the way they parent, or they describe a difficult moment that they experience with their child, and they describe how they've handled it. And I think to myself, oh my gosh, I would have handled that situation so much worse. And then I feel so guilty because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so impatient. I shout too much. I am, just a bad parent, because I hear these parents describe their experience and I think, gosh, you are so calm and you are so thoughtful and you're so mindful. And of course, my clients are coming to me with distress. So they're actually telling me the moments that they feel the worst about. They're like, these are my moments that I just really felt so ashamed of, or out of control, or like I didn't handle the situation properly. And I'm thinking there in the back of my head, geez, well, if this was you at your worst, like, you don't want to see me at my worst. I'm a worse parent than you know? So that's another way that I really struggle, is that I feel, that sometimes I wish I could just be like, you don't have any idea. Like, I have so many weak moments as a parent. And not only do I know how I'm screwing my kids up, but I also then feel like I'm hearing in real time how other parents are being so much better at everything than me. Anyway, the other way it's hard is that being a parent is hard because you are needed in such a particular way as a parent. You have a child who's so dependent on you, and your children particularly need you for so much emotional regulation. And depending on whether I've had a long day of therapy or not, I have more to offer my children or not. So on the days where I've seen like very few clients, or I've had enough exercise, or just, filled up my cup in other ways, I can come home, or I can be available to my children in a different way. More available, more patient, just more for them. But on days where I've been in therapy with clients, hearing their stuff all day, I come back to my children with so much less to offer. And it's really hard to do both. It's really hard to be the parent, but also the therapist all day, every day. And yeah, sometimes something has to give. And it's hard because on some days it's the children that miss out. And on some days it's the clients that miss out, that on a particularly hard parenting day, you might find that there's just a little bit less of you for your clients, or you might be more impatient, or you might be, I sometimes find maybe just have less, it's not less patience as much as it's less availability to be there for the other person to make use of in some ways. So those are all the ways that I find it really hard. It's also really hard because I sometimes really resent the fact that psychology has made parents more perfectionistic, more critical of themselves. It's almost like we have just enough information about how important early development is now to use it against ourselves, to punish ourselves, to call ourselves things, rather than using it to like really build a society that supports parenting, that supports and nurtures parents, because that really is the key. No one should be doing all of this hard work of parenting, and really is hard work, on our own. And psychology has made the stakes high. Like every day you go into parenting knowing that you're going to build someone's sense of security in the world. And that's all good and well, but it shouldn't be done alone, and it shouldn't be something that you feel you're sort of walking a tightrope on, that you're either like, if you get it right, you're building someone's security. And if you get it wrong, their security is destroyed. And that those are your only two options. And you're always on either side of that, one way or another. And I think that's just way too much pressure and too anxiety provoking. So those are all the ways that I find being a parent and a psychologist hard. Join me next week for another episode. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to On the Couch with Carly. If something in this episode resonated with you or made you feel less alone, that means the world to me. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now in video format on YouTube. For exclusive content and resources, visit our website at onthecouchwithcarly.com. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please consider leaving a rating or review. It really does help others discover our safe space for authentic conversation. Until next time, please take good care of yourself. I can't wait to be back on the couch with you again.